when we connect to the earth outside and we become aware that we're part of all of this and we need it to be alive, and and it needs us, then we also connect to our need to protect all of this, and we're reminded of what we need to do in this time, and that's also a side benefit that's really in some ways the most important benefit of being out here.
During COVID, I'm just so full of gratitude when I can get outside. I feel cooped up. So prayer is putting that gratitude to good use.
Jews have been praying in the outdoors for a long time, and especially now that there's not a synagogue easily accessible, it's really wonderful to be able to come out here and pray. We're going to start with some psalms, because the psalmist wrote a lot about the beauty of the natural world. And we'll start with the Ashrae, which you might not think of as a psalm about nature, because it says, "Happy are they who dwell in your house." But what if this was the house?
Ashrae yoshvei beitecha, od yahalelu selah. Ashrei ha'am shekacha lo, Ashrei ha'am she'Adonai Elohav. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Happy are people living in your temple, where they always praise you, Selah. Joy to the ones who feel your grace. Oh, happy people, happy people. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Ashrei yoshvei beitecha, od yahalelu selah. Ashrei ha'am shekacha lo, Ashrei ha'am she'Adonai Elohav. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah.
You can also sing a psalm while meeting a tree or a flower. For example, one of the psalms says, "Magadlu ma'asecha," yeah? How amazing, how great are your works, Creator. And we're just going to keep praising because your works are so amazing.
Magadlu ma'asechaya, מאוד עמקו מחשבותיך. מה גדלו מעשיך היה, מאוד עמקו מחשבותיך. Hallelujah, 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 מה גדלו מעשיך היה, מאוד עמקו מחשבותיך. מה גדלו מעשיך היה, מאוד עמקו מחשבותיך. Hallelujah, 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 Hallelujah.
So now we're going to offer another kind of way to pray in the natural world. And sometimes this is called hiporedut, which means being alone in nature, or being alone with God, but often it's done outside. One of the traditional ways is to just go outside and begin talking, and just sort of talk and pour out your heart to the divine. Pour out your heart to God and say what's on your mind. But I actually like to go out and listen. There's a name for all these beings in Hebrew. These are the tzamachim, the sprouting ones, and these are the domanim, the quiet ones. And they all have a name. Like, they're all creatures out here. And so if you just sort of listen, you begin to tune into this larger name of God that the world is spelling. So you can do that by sitting down or lying down and just kind of listening. And this is something you can do at home. You can go out and do it on your lawn. If you can go into your local park, you can go into the woods, you can go out on your porch. You can do this anywhere that you feel in contact with the more than human world, as David Abram likes to say, is a good place to do this. And I like to lie down. There is this teaching from Rabbi Nachman of Wroclaw. He says that every blade of grass has its own song. And this is why you should pay attention to the songs of shepherds, because the shepherds know the song of the grass and the stones and the earth that's in their place, and that their song holds that, that power, that energy. So this particular place has its own song. So I'm just going to lie down for a minute and listen to the song. So you can do that just for a couple of seconds, or you can really do it for 20 minutes. And it's actually very, very helpful when the body is on the earth. We were created to be in connection to the ground, and when we're on the ground, it does something to us. It balances us. It gives us renewed energy. So some of the things I heard birds, I heard wind, I heard children playing, I heard traffic, and lots of other small sounds. It's a wonderful practice.
There's the constancy of the crickets. They're like in their own temple of prayer. And while Central Park West is rush houring, I'm trying to foreground their song, and it's so powerful. Look for smallness. Pick a spot and study its complexity for a good 3 minutes. So I'm going to pick this spot of this rock, and I'm just going to pour all my attention there. I'm sitting on something that was once a piece of the boiling inner earth, and all this metal came out of that inferno. This was liquid. This is part of like God's hearth. It's just cooled. It's a privilege to sit here. And it's fun to look at mica flecks. I grew up in Brooklyn, and mica flecks were in the sidewalk. And they were like the special thing in the sidewalk. So that's a practice that you can have on the outdoors. Just not looking casually at things, but looking as a student of the outdoors. And let nature be your teacher. And you can have a lifelong school out here if you just take the time.
I want to offer one more thing that you can do sort of just with earth, just being on the ground. There's a Kabbalistic teaching that one of the ways that the divine presence manifests, one of the ways that Shekhinah sort of, manifests to us is in the earth. And that the reason the earth can grow things is that the divine presence is there, making it fructive. So this is a way of thinking about what the earth does for us as a ground of our lives. So one thing you can also do is you can lie on the earth and you can feel into, like, here you are, you're a body, you're connected to this much larger body, which is connected to this sort of a larger, disembodied body, or embodied body, which is the divine presence. You can just sort of feel the connection between you and the larger, the larger life force. And sometimes, if words come, you can just say whatever is coming up for you. I'm so grateful to be surrounded by all this green life, and it helps me feel more alive. And the world is a little scary. It's nice to feel that gravity is still holding me to the planet. You can say, I'm so grateful for my life, my body, people I love, and the planet I love. You can get kind of mushy about it if you're into that. And if you want to bring a prayer book out here, you can do that too. You can just pray, the way you would pray in a synagogue, but just out here. You don't have to do anything different except just, let this setting inspire you.
Shem Kivod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed Baruch Shem Kivod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed.
So this is the autumn equinox. And one way that you can be celebrating in the wider world is by honoring the rhythms of nature, sort of in your prayers and in your rituals. And Jews already do this. We have Sukkot to honor the harvest festival right now. We have the going deep in the high holidays and Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur at a time when the light's getting less, so we're spending more time sort of going inward, less time sort of working outside. And one moment that can be fun to celebrate is this moment of the autumn equinox when days and nights are equal. So I'm going to offer a really simple ritual for honoring the equinox. So I have here a dark stone and a light stone. They're approximately same size, so we have here the day and the night. So you can hold two stones like this, and you can think about sort of what are the forces in your life that you need to balance. Like, maybe you need to balance like creativity with having discipline, or maybe you need to balance being loving and generous with having boundaries. So think about like what do you need to balance, and you can feel the stones, they feel really good. And we're going to sing, and the phrase we're going to sing is Baruch Shem Kavod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed, which means blessed is the name of God's glorious Malchut, which means sovereignty, but in the Kabbalah, Malchut means the divine presence. It means sort of the sacred embodied divine manifestation, which is often described in the feminine. So it's like a blessing of all that is, if you understand it in that way, in the way that the Kabbalists understand that phrase. So we're going to sing it 7 times as we do this balancing ritual for the equinox. And we'll start by saying Baruch Oseh V'Reshit, or you can say Baruch Osah V'Reshit. Blessed is the one who makes creation, which is the blessing the Talmud says that you should say when you see the sun in its tikufa, when you see the sun in its season. Not exactly clear what it means. For them, it means only when the sun returns to its spot at the original moment of creation. But I like to think that it means whenever you see the sun in a solstice or an equinox, you should say, "Blessed is the one who makes creation."
Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Vaed. 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 Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Vaed.
In the Torah, the high priest has something called Urim v'Tumim in the sacred breastplate, which means lights and purities, or maybe lights and darknesses. And some think that what was in the breastplate was a dark stone and a light stone. So here they are. And I feel really balanced now.